Okay. Third time's charm. Who would even want to do that? That literally sounds dreadful. My tea's warm now. It's almost springtime, so you know what that means. Longer daylight, and a lot of people get this itch that it's time to start cleaning. We're now opening windows for fresh air, dusting the areas that haven't been dusted, and revamping the closets. That yearly physical ritual feels great. A deep clean on a Saturday morning, listening to old school reggae, resets the whole house, because if you know, you know. But here's what we often forget. Our minds and spirits accumulate just as much clutter as our homes. Old worries, a lingering resentment, mental loops that play on repeat, these old stories that take up mental space. Therefore, this spring, let's do something different. Not just a clean house or an organized closet, but a clearer mind and lightened spirit. Let's talk about how to declutter the invisible space in our mind that matters the most. Wagwan folks, I'm your girl Tamika G, nurse herbalist and holistic wellness consultant, and I'm here to bridge the gap between health and wellness. First up, as always, current SIF status, red raspberry, peppermint, and nettle tea. That is now. Red raspberry is great to maintain a healthy uterus and uterine lining and is a good source of iron, vitamin A, C, and antioxidants. Nettle is a good cleanser and has great anti-inflammatory properties as well, which works perfectly calming the uterus lining during menstruation. And peppermint, which I love for the taste, but is also great for headaches, stomach aches, and is a good antiseptic. So let's start with the easy stuff, the mental equivalent of the junk drawer. This is the surface level clutter that we accumulate daily. It's the endless to-do list, the background anxiety about things that hasn't even happened yet, the mental habit of scrolling through your phone first thing in the morning, flooding your brain with everyone else's news before you even had a moment with your own. But here's the thing about surface clutter. We're so used to it that we don't even notice it anymore. It's something that is now somehow a part of us. Therefore, the first step is pretty simple, but not always easy. Create a mental entry point where you wake up, give yourself the first 5 minutes. No phone, no news, no input. Just you, your breath, and the morning light. Write down the 3 things that's rattling around in your brain. Just get them out of your head and onto paper. This doesn't need to be deep work. It's just opening the windows for fresh air. So feel free to use your phone and just write it in the notes. Now we go deeper. Once the mental noise settles a little bit, you can start to get a clearer feel of what's actually underneath. This is where it gets a little tender. These are the things we carry that have weight. The conversation you never had, the apology you never received, the version of yourself you're still grieving, or even the grudge you're still holding on to, even though that person who probably wronged you isn't thinking about it whatsoever. But holding on to these things is exhausting. And as I mentioned in a previous video, why it's detrimental. This is why spring is the perfect time to set some of that heavy stuff down and let it go, little by little. And I want to offer you a gentle practice of this. Pick one thing you're ready to release. It could be a resentment, a regret, maybe a story that you're no longer this kind of person who blanks, whatever it is. Or it could even be an idea about yourself that's not yours. Write it down. And if you haven't noticed by now, you can probably always bet I'm going to tell you to write it down. And it's for a reason. Writing things down or saying them aloud makes them more real than if you're just thinking it in your head. And depending on what it is, you may have a moment of realization of either you're wrong or right, or just see things differently about a situation or issue. You can't see what's going on in your brain, and it's a lot harder to trick the brain when you're writing or reading something that's not true. And again, once you're done, rip it up. It's a physical practice for a spiritual truth that you're ready to let go. Here's the beautiful thing about clearing clutter, whether physical, mental, or emotional. You don't just create empty space, You create available space. And when your mind isn't full of noise, you can actually hear yourself think. When your spirit isn't weighted down by old stories, you can feel what you actually want to and get closer to realigning with your purpose. But most of us are so busy managing the clutter that we never ask, what do I want or need? Therefore, once you uncluttered a little space, you get to find time to figuring out what energy you want to invite inside. Is it more creativity, more rest, more connection with others, more time outside? And again, write it down. But take it a step further and also tell a friend or set a reminder. Anchoring it with something that will help hold you accountable makes it a little bit more real and more attainable. So, a little secret to help you throughout this process is the use of essential oils. A diffuser literally hates to see me coming, and so does sage. Sage? For the amount of times I've actually been in that store, I've never asked how you pronounce the name. I feel like it's sage and I feel like it's sage. And I also now feel like I'm being extra. Anyways, here are some of the essential oils that I love. One, lemon. It's uplifting, cleansing, so you can actually use it as a physical cleanser in your house, as an all-purpose cleaner or polish wood. Use it in the morning as it's a great air freshener and it helps to lighten the mood and set positive intentions for the day. Number two, peppermint. Great for mental clarity and decision making. When your energy dips or your focus wavers, peppermint is a great brain boost. Number three, frankincense. This is for the deep work. When you're sitting with heavy emotions or practicing release, frankincense has such an earthy smell, so it's perfect to help ground you and help you create a sacred space. Number four, we have lavender. So I'm pretty sure in a previous video, I mentioned that I'm actually not a fan of lavender unless I'm drinking it in a tea. However, just like the tea, lavender is there to smooth the nervous system and help you sleep when your mind wants to race. I use it sparingly because it's such a powerful scent, but to each his own. And number five, wild orange. Orange is another powerful oil I use sparingly. Joy, pure, simple energy. Use this when you're ready to invite in new intentions. So, how to use them? A few drops in a diffuser while you journal, a drop in your palm, rub together and inhale deeply before meditation. Dilute it in coconut oil or water and apply to your wrists or the back of your neck. If I don't have a diffuser going on in the bathroom while I'm showering, then I'll just add a few drops in the bath. So here's your invitation for this spring. And remember, you don't have to do it all at once, and you don't have to clear decades of clutter in a weekend. Who would even want to do that? That literally sounds dreadful. That's not how spring works. And that's also not how healing works. But you can start. You can take 5 minutes in the morning to just breathe before you pick up your phone. You can write down one thing that you're ready to release. You can also ask yourself an honest question. What do I actually want more of this spring? And maybe your mind will feel a little lighter. I will be posting a spring detox video talking about herbs, fruits, and vegetables. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the good stuff. Remember to take good care of yourself. Peace and love always. I think this is the most takes I've taken doing a video. This, shush.